experiences and how that plays into what you're doing now.
Well, good morning, everybody. Blessings to be with everyone, and to Cordell, thank you for letting us all be here in this time and space. But before diving in, and I mentioned this to Wilson and Jason and others downstairs, let us first and foremost recognize the gratitude we should have for being in this space by watching what's going on in Ukraine right now. And so it is important for us to not ignore that you have probably the greatest threat to Europe happening in real time right now, and we as leaders of color have a responsibility that when we go back home to go help our people. To the question from Wilson, so I come to you in truest Jamaican form of tree jobs, right? So, and anyone from Caribbean, you understand what I mean by that point. So, I serve as president of Next Level Sports and Entertainment, which is the first ever person of color national-owned sports TV network in our country's history. We're in 22 million homes in the US, we're in 106 million homes globally. We are not a startup, we acquired the asset of 11 Sports, and so we can dive into further in terms of what we do there. And separately, CEO of Atlas Strategy Group, which we've been in existence for 9 years in bringing equity and justice to scale. To the conversation here, look, I think at the end of the day, we are tired of watching a space where the only time they look at black and brown folk when it comes to sports is, can we play? You know, and so it has to be the responsibility of having someone like a Jason, who's the president of a team, and in having what we're doing, led by our owner Andre Gudry, and owning the asset of a media entity. Because at the end of the day, you can have a team, which Andre Gudry, our owner, had. He owned the Atlanta Blaze, but if you don't own the distribution, you cannot tell the story. And when you think about the scope of all of this, and the broader context of it, the intersection of my career in politics, I was an assemblyman for 6 years, I worked for President Obama for 6.5 years, was vice chair of the ANC before. It was, how do we use these moments to change the game for our people at scale? And when we think about billions and trillions of dollars that are moving within sports, in large part, to me, the moment in time right now was how can we utilize media as that space for us. And this is 80% of our content is sports focused. We have live boxing out of Mexico. We have HBCU basketball doubleheaders. We have a What's Next studio show on Monday and Thursday nights. We have an MMA competition. We actually had more live sports for the last 6 months than ESPN. Because if you watch ESPN, you'll realize you probably don't watch anything live until 7 o'clock at night. You're pretty much just watching talk shows all day long. And so we have that diverse content in that manner. But it was the intentionality of transitioning to the moment here. And he hates when I do this, but I always do this. My pride in Jason is immense for so many reasons. Because at the end of the day, he was a successful NFL player. He was a successful partner at McKinsey. He is a successful president of the NFL team. And it doesn't matter what team you might have rooted for. We all need to make sure that the Washington Commanders are successful, because Jason's success means all of us can be successful.
Amen. Let me pick up on that last point, Michael, because you may have seen in Jason's bio that he is the author of really the kind of foremost paper and thought